Hi friends, Leo here. I'm going to have a lot of fun today with this video, because this video is more or less a response to all the different meditation scams that you see on the internet and also that you read about in all the popular books. I am going to give you 10 tips today. The reason for this is I was this morning watching a video from a very pretty girl, and she was gorgeous, making some assumptions with 23 tips on how to improve your meditation, and I had to really laugh very much. She wasn't completely wrong, but you know, she was a 23-year-old girl who was going in and out of meditation sometimes since a few years, and she was considering herself to be quite experienced. And that's basically the issue with modern meditation. People don't do any real meditation, but they consider themselves pretty much experienced. What actually triggered me is because she made me think about a guy who was a former banker from a bank who was exposed as being very corrupt because of the kind of people that work there. And he had discovered through a short course mindfulness. And with this mindfulness he started giving meditation courses. He first came to my center, the Young Center, and he wanted to rent space for this because he wanted to build a meditation empire. And with this meditation empire, he wanted to make meditation very popular, which is very nice. I mean, he was clearly enthusiastic. But after a trial session where I observed him, how he teach and how he used his lack of experience to motivate people, I realized this is a power game and it's about making money and so on and so forth. So he was still a banker, and as a result of that, I just basically told him, sort of, I don't want you in my place. I didn't say this aggressive like that, but I said basically like, no, I don't think it's suitable for my place. But I sorted him off. Let's get on with it. For number one, I'm using the language of this pretty girl, and she said I also did ooh stuff, and that proves that I have an open mind. What I want to say to you is don't do ooh stuff because it closes your mind. That's basically it. The thing is that people do very often things like guided meditation and so on and so on. If you do not wish to become mentally dependent on a tool to meditate, don't use apps, don't use guided meditation and so on. You can listen to guided meditation and think like, oh, they do it like this and this and this. This is the order of the activities that I do, but don't use it, don't put it on while you're meditating, because you give up your mental freedom. And you don't want to do that in meditation. Meditation is about developing mental freedom. And you can't give up your mental freedom to get mental freedom. That just doesn't work. Mental freedom means you have to break your habits of the way you think and your dependencies. The second one is about your sitting position. The best thing is to sit up straight. Don't use anything to lean against. Don't use a cushion. Don't slack with your body and go hang and slope. And the reasons for this are actually very simple, because it has to do with how you optimize your body. Meditation in Chinese is called the Da Zuo, for beginners anyway. And then at the moment when you start, you're struggling with your body to get it into the right posture, because getting into the right posture gains you the ability to open up your mind, because you open up your body. Your mind and your body is the same. There's no difference between them. You cannot, like Elon Musk does, put a mesh into your brain and then record your thoughts and your feelings. Your thoughts and your feelings are inside your body, and in the meditation process you want to create a kind of openness that makes your body into a mirror through which you can perceive what is actually happening to you through your whole body. And this is also how you find out how you build up your tensions and your stresses, but also how you get rid of them, and how you actually create kind of thoughts and feelings about the people around you. So that's a very important part. The second part of this is that at the moment when you are, say, sitting in a sloped position, you put pressure on your internal organs. You don't have enough space inside your body at that moment to be free and open. So the pressure that causes that creates damp and heat in your body, and also causes exhaustion. And as a result of that, maybe you numb your mind, but you're not really calming your mind. because there's no openness. You're actually stuffing your mind. You're stuffying your mind. You're making it stuffy, and because you're stuffying your body, of course. When you use a cushion, then at that moment, because you close the duma in the backside, especially when you sit on the backside of the cushion, as a result of that, you actually, create fire inside because of the stagnation you create. And of course, if you talk only about energy, you don't notice the difference about it between yang qi and energy. But the point is that you keep your Dumai channel open so that the yang qi can go up, and it has to also come back down on the front side again as dew, and on the back side as steam. And at the moment when that happens, then you get a circulation, which is called a small heavenly circulation. And this small heavenly circulation is a percolating process to increase the quality of qi and blood in your body. That's one of the motivations for doing meditation well. When you want to get into the meditation process, that is number 3. Yes, it is not a bad idea to do some yogic practice before. When I give my own classes, I usually do a few yoga stretches which basically open up all the different parts of the body. They are helping you also to get into the meditative process, and then the reason for that is because yoga, in its old form of word dhyani, actually means meditation. So yoga in itself is part of the meditation. In a way, like vipassana is a preparation for meditation, yoga is also preparation for meditation. In fact, yoga is vipassana. The 4th tip that I have for you is to make sure that you have in your agenda a fixed time for your meditation process, and book this for 7 days in a week. And make sure you make enough time for your meditation. Even though you have a hard time to sit in meditation, book at least half hour, because of the way how the body circulates and percolates, and as a result of that affects chemical and neural changes. And as a result of these changes, you gradually go deeper and deeper in the meditation process. Don't believe a word of anybody who says 5, 10, 15 minutes is enough. Don't start at 15 minutes or something like this, because when you start with just a little bit of meditation, it takes forever before that becomes like the right amount of time. You have to understand that a good meditation takes between half hour and 4 hours minimum, right? So there's meditation techniques that require 16 hours, or they require 24 hours, or they require 48 days, or they require a year or 3 years. Yes, so the meditation process is not a meditation individually per time that you meditate, but it's an incrementally changing process because of all the times that you meditate. So it is piling up effects over time. And that is why you have to make sure you create enough time, because otherwise that process does not happen, and it stays just 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 10 minutes there. And you need probably 3 or 4 lifetimes before incrementally you will see a change. So don't do that. Start with half hour and build it up until 1-2 hours at minimum. In many ways you can say that meditation is like a top sport. So that means that you really need training to get well in it, to get good in it. So don't fool yourself with too short time. Make sure you have enough time for your meditation to build up that skill and to have actually a benefit from it in your daily life. The 5th tip that I'm going to give to you has to do with the time of the day that you have to practice. There is in fact no fixed time to practice. You have to just see what is the benefit from which time of the day and whether you want to go do with it. If you want to increase the quality of your life and you want to do it a little bit in the way how Keanu Reeves did that in what's the name of this movie, where he has a chip in his head where he stores memory and he smuggles memory. At that moment, he uses meditation to focus his mind so that he doesn't get lost in the process of what he is doing. And that is, of course, when you have a stressful job, meditation can help you to build in the morning the focus that you need to get through your days. That means that you have to have a plan for your day already at that moment. In general, people will not use meditation for that purpose, except a few exceptions. But on the whole, you can say if you meditate in the morning, because of the stretching exercises in the morning, your body will be more awake, your mind will be more awake. So as a result, you will achieve better work in your working day hours. For meditation purposes, when you go really deep into meditation, the best time for meditation is for your daily routine between 11 in the evening and about 3 o'clock in the night. So that is 4 hours. The reason for that is because at 11 o'clock in the morning and 11 o'clock in the evening, there is the conception of yang in the day. So the day is most yin in power on 11 o'clock, and at that moment, because of the extreme of the yin, automatically the birth of the yang takes place. And it is actually the rotation from the sun around the earth, and at the moment when it returns back to the moment when it rises in the morning. And it depends on which place of the earth you are, what time it rises. So that means also that depending on the place where you are, the growth of yin and the growth of yang is going to be different. It's also going to be different in the summer, in the spring, and in the winter. And then if you're most close to the equator, these differences are minimalized. But when you're living like me in the Netherlands, in the summer the yin is much longer and the yang is much smaller, and it really takes time to become sensitive enough to notice these changes and grow with them. Because once you are aware of these changes, then at that moment you grow with the yang qi, and it carries you gradually towards the sunrise in the morning. And you see that in many of the exercises that we do, especially in the Tai Chi Chuan exercise, the Tai Chi 13 exercise, we talk about the rising of the sun as the Dantian. The Dantian in that sense is the home of the sun at night. The sixth tip that I'm going to give you has to do with preparing your space, your meditation space. Don't prepare anything, right? You don't need a specific meditation space. It is nice if people go on the side, but it doesn't matter if the TV is on, you're sitting on a crossroad or anything like that. I don't care where you're sitting, but make sure it is not comfortable. That's the only one thing that I would advise you. Make sure your meditation space is not comfortable. Go sit on the floor. If the floor is cold, fine. Don't use a carpet. Just use the cold stone floor. Don't use a cushion. Don't use something to lean against. Don't put on your heating. Open your windows. Open your doors so that the ventilation of the room is as optimum as possible. If possible, preferably go sit outside. But make sure you're under a roof so that if it's raining, you're not sitting in the rain. The dampness of the rain around you when it is raining is good enough as an experience to help you moisten your body and to deepen your meditation. It is also helping you adjust to nature as a whole. And don't worry about the winter. Because of the meditation, if the meditation goes very well, your body automatically adjusts the temperature and you're not going to be freezing. You don't need hysterical breathing like in the Iceman method. You can just do breathing in a calm, neutral way, and your breath will slow down, but your body temperature will rise depending on the climate around you, because you get adjusted to it from day to day. If you might worry by accident about the mosquitoes or about other bugs around you, don't worry about it. When you're deep enough in meditation, they come to you and they bite you, they take some blood, but because you're not panicking, they also don't leave any acidification in your skin, so you won't have any itching. It is quite normal when you sit meditating and you're deep in meditation that animals will walk around you or sit on you or something like this, because they don't see you anymore as a danger. I had it one time. I was just telling my wife yesterday on the basis of a story that somebody told me about a teacher where butterflies went sitting on his arm, that I was sitting in meditation in my room in front of my meditation table. I had a statue there of Tungwu, and there was a butterfly coming through the window and it was landing on my forehead. It stayed there for a few minutes and then it went and it sit on the front of Tungwu. And at the moment when it sits there and just moves his wings just like it was doing on my head. And then after some time, another butterfly come in through the same window, same kind of butterfly, go sit on exactly the same spot on my head. Here, this point, this is called the Dragon Gate. At the moment when it sit there, it is sitting there on this thing and going like, then it goes to the other butterfly and it sits on top of the other butterfly, and they probably have sex and make new butterflies. It's a very tantric experience, of course. The best place to have sex in front of a god statue. I'm not sure if I'm counting right, but on my paper it says number 6, but in my head and what I just did with the other one, I'm now at number 7. So let's go to number 7. And then if there is a space in there, just tell me, sorry, Leo, you're very nice in meditation, but your counting sucks. Okay, when you meditate, don't play any music. Your environment is the music. So don't play any music. It's the same like when you do Tai Chi Chuan, or when you do Qigong, or you do any other practice. By using music, you take away your liberties, because the music determines the speed of your metabolic rate. And it is of course very handy maybe when you're very sick and you need to change your metabolic rate. But if you're not sick, if you're just discomfortable because of the issues of your life, then don't use any music. Make sure your environment is as much natural as it can be, because there is the music. The music is in the sounds in your body and the sounds in your environment, and they have to harmonize with each other and they have to unify together. So at the moment when you would actually use music, then at that moment you take away the freedom to adapt it to become better. And then we go to number 8. And for number 8, I want to tell you, meditation is not a bingo. So don't use all kind of paraphernalia to get into the mood. When you do yoga, that is enough paraphernalia, because that is, as a vipassana practice, it is a preparation for your meditation process. When you use incense or anything like that, makes no sense. If you have to use mood enhancers to get into the meditative mood, then you really need to meditate and get rid of all your enhancers, because it is not a bingo. Meditation can be done at any place, under any circumstance, and if you want to blackmail your mind into meditation, it doesn't really work. So do away with all the bingo things. Another aspect of that is also, and it was also initiated by this girl who talked about it, you don't need any crystals. You don't need any stones or gems or something like this to enhance your meditation. If you are deficient enough to have sensitivity for crystals, that means anything can move you. Anything can move you. And it means also that you're very sensitive to marketing ploys and advertisements. So make sure you become a little bit more strong at that moment. I don't want to look like hardcore, because I'm not hardcore. I'm pretty mellow and general, and I'm in most cases I'm not really like the macho kind of type. But at the moment when you do meditation, it is really much better for your meditation process to go hardcore on things. What does work though is when you go sit on a mountain full of crystals. And it doesn't mean that you have to pile up all kind of crystals in your room, but when the crystals are in a mountain and they're all intertwined with each other, all these crystals together, they are like one, almost like a mind, right? So they have a particular kind of power. This is what the Aborigines in Australia experienced when they were taking away their crystals to sell them to Westerners to use them in meditation. They didn't have their churches anymore, because these mountains with these crystals and minerals and all kind of other things, they were powerhouses through which they recognized their landscape, and they all of a sudden they lost their landscape because it was sold, because spiritual people in the East and in the West, they wanted to use crystals to be more spiritual, right? Just go to a mountain then and go sit on it. Number 9. Sitting still and calming your mind is just a beginning process for meditation. The thing is that in meditation your mind gradually calms down because of the openness of your body, but it is normal to have thoughts during the meditation process. The meditation process provides the bubbling up of thoughts and feelings, because it is a sort of a psychotherapeutic correction process through which you restructure your feelings, your thoughts, but also your identity, sense of identity, and your personality. So over time, gradually, the meditation changes you. And now if we just talk about the calming meditation, it will help you to gradually restructure and to become a different person. Of course, in your daily life, you also need to study what it means to be a better person and what you need to do for that. And to be able to do being a better person, you need to ritualize particular kind of actions in your daily life, and that will also improve your meditation experience. When you do good deeds instead of all the time doing selfish deeds, of course that will increase things. If you are generous, instead of trying to hold on to things, that will of course change your attitude about things. It will also improve your meditation experience. The meditation experience, on the other hand, because of all the things that bubble up, also they create trends in your thoughts and your feelings. And as such, you can say that the meditation process is a part of this construction and reconstruction of your thought processes. So that means that gradually you change the nature of your mind. And as a result of that, over time you find peace because you're restructured and you've done away with a lot of the tensions. Of course, meditating wrongly can also enhance your neurosis. So make sure you get a good teacher. And a good teacher is somebody who can understand meditation because of a long time experience. Like this girl I was talking about, she was going on and off in meditation. The guy that I talked about, he was just 3 months ago, he followed a course in meditation. That isn't really it. So make sure your meditation teacher has at least 10 to 20 years of experience, and not just with calming meditation, but he really is a meditator and he's a practitioner of other things that have to do with that. So preferably, like in Chinese culture, a Neidan practitioner or a very serious yoga teacher, not following any of the yogic trends and not trying to have a beautiful body or something like this, but just somebody trying to open up the body for the meditative process and not using all the bingo things. A good meditation teacher usually is connected to a meditation school. Like in the Daoland program, we are connected to a particular kind of school of Taoism, and it combines aspects of the teaching of Tao Hong Jing in Shangqing Tao Jiao, and also in Zhangfen Zhudang Tao Jiao. And the alchemical part of the Ming Dynasty and the late Song Dynasty, and the alchemical part of the psychotropic alchemical part of the Shangqing Dynasty meditations, they together intertwined, they form basically the body of Taoist meditation, and it is a step-by-step process. So your teacher has to help you get through the guided meditation, get through the calming meditation, and then gradually get step by step deeper and deeper into it, so that you gradually become a master of your own personality. For Taoists, the goal of meditation is to become an immortal. And for this, you have to create an immortal body. And that means that your body has to follow a particular kind of hierarchy to be able to make that step into immortality. For Buddhists, you want to become a Buddha, or you want to stop incarnating altogether, or you want to make sure that you are incarnating at least as a human being in the next life. And that means that your meditation has to focus on that purpose. For Westerners, usually there is not much focus on meditation, and as a result of that, they basically don't get anywhere, and they find themselves usually very special because of the experiences, like bliss, for instance, in the meditation process. And bliss is great. It cleans the heart of all kinds of turbidities, but it is a fullness. And as a result of that, it creates damp heat in the heart. And as in Chinese medicine is being explained, when the heart is becoming too hot, it will die. If it becomes too dampy, your mind becomes too full and you become crazy. And there's all kinds of other things. So bliss is great, but it shouldn't last too long. Eventually, you should do away with it by ignoring it and calming it down and making sure there is serenity in your system. And the serenity is located in the dantian, in the belly, not in the heart. The 10th tip, and that's the last one for today, unfortunately already. This is something that the pretty girl was talking about in a very right way, namely that meditation is not a cure-at-all. You can't cure things with meditation. But the thing is that meditation brings about a process in your thoughts and in your feelings that help you to find solutions for the issues that you work with. So meditation, don't expect too much of it, but just do it. Oh, and for the people who practice Tantra, all meditation is tantric, because you're working with polarities within your body that gradually have to be dissolved, and as a result of that you neutralize yourself and you don't produce opposing forces towards anything. That is not the easiest thing. It will take a long time. Tantric things can be developed through sexual practices. It can be evolved through psychotropic meditations with male and female deities, or sex with the moon goddess, a meditation cycle that I teach, and other things. All meditation in the end is tantric, so don't worry about that part. So from here, I hope you had a lot of fun with this video. I hope the tips actually really benefit you some way. And if you have any questions, put them below. Make sure you subscribe. Preferably you become also a Patreon member. At the end of the video you find all the address information and so on and so forth. I enjoyed myself very much making this video. It was very easy for me to make because these are issues that come about in almost all my classes when I have to give people corrections. There's always somebody asking about something for these things, because a lot of hot topics for people are like, how do I improve my skills? I look forward to see you the next time, and have fun with the other videos too.
Well, one last thing. One thing I'm really sorry about. I'm not as pretty as the girl that I was mentioning. I'm not going to show you a picture. I don't want to get into any argument with anybody, so I try to keep it anonymous.
So you have to do with what you get, right? But the tips are good.